are you guys?
Fine. And you?
Excellent.
I'm good. I'm good. Do you all want me to turn my phone sideways?
Try it
Mm,
just in case.
Yes, maybe better.
Okay, let's try that. Is that better?
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Very
Uh,
good.
one
One
moment.
question. Do you have to end at any time or you don't have more interviews?
I have interviews today. Yes, I have about a half an hour.
Half an hour. Perfect.
Okay,
So
so let's start.
go
Okay.
straight. Yeah.
Hello, Michael. This is Jordi Tarrega from Barcelona and Yolanda Sabater from Canterbury, both writing for Stairway to Rock magazine in Spain. Thank you for your time for this interview. So the first question, I think it's obvious, is why Stryper issues a Christmas album in 2025 under the name of The Greatest Gift of All.
Well, we've been asked by many fans over the years, for 40 years, because that's when we released our first Christmas single in '85. So for 40 years, fans have been asking for a full-length Christmas album. And instead of just talking about it and saying, we'll make that happen someday, year after year after year, I decided to just make it happen. And I reached out to the label. I said, let's do this. They agreed. We went in the studio in March, tried to make it as Christmas as possible, wearing Christmas pajamas, playing Christmas music when you go to the bathroom, toilet, and running Elf movie with the volume down 24/7. So that made it a little more Christmassy, and we made a Christmas album, and here we are. It's reality. And finally, after 40 years, we have a full-length Christmas album that will hopefully live on for many years to come. And we called it the greatest gift of all because Jesus is the greatest gift of all, in our opinions, according to our faith and according to our beliefs. He is the greatest gift of all. There's no better gift. So that's why we wanted to call the album that.
I read that you are gonna release only physical version of the album, so it's not gonna be in digital.
Well, it's not going to be in digital yet.
Okay.
The reason why we did that is to save some of the songs uh, for the digital world realm uh, for down the road. We just wanted to, save some of the material, even though people are buying it and it will probably get out there to some degree. That was our thinking behind this, to just kind of do a little bit at a time, a little more old school, a little more like the golden days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have to say that I'm not really love Christmas albums, but in your case, I have to say it's absolutely Striper and it's metal. There are a lot of metal and rock bands that had his Christmas album. I don't know which are your favorites, but I can remember, for example, Twisted Sister, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Beach Boys, Transylvanian Orchestra. So when you started to think about how the album will be, all the band started to talk about, I love that album. Maybe we can choose that path.
Well, I mean, no disrespect to Twisted Sister, they're legendary and have done some great things, but we didn't want to make an album like that. You know, their album, I have heard it, and it's a little bit more of a kind of a fun, goofing around, a little bit more of that kind of thing. Our album is a little darker, a little more serious in tone, musically and lyrically. Aside from maybe Winter Wonderland, that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more similar to the Twisted Sister album. But we didn't want to do a repeat of the Twisted Sister album because that's probably one of the most popular hard rock Christmas albums ever, and very well known. But we didn't want to do that. And my intention was, as I was writing the material, there's 5 originals and there's 5 traditionals. And as I was writing the new material and arranging the traditional material, it was really important for me to put different spins on things. Like a song, for example, like The Greatest Gift of All, the title track. It's a little bit more pop punk. It's got a little bit of a punkish vibe to it. I'm a big fan of the Ramones. A lot of people do not know that. Yeah.
Me too.
And I wanted to kind of capture that energy, you know, that fun up tempo. It just makes you do this. And I hope we did that. But every song's different, every song's unique, and that was the goal, purposely.
Regarding this, one of the most famous songs I think now in Christmas is Maria Carey. So, you know, All I Want for Christmas. Did you consider that song?
No, I mean, it was pretty much a no-brainer when the songs were chosen. I went with my gut, and some of these songs I've been playing out live solo. Some of the songs Stryper has played, Little Drummer Boy. We've done. You can see a version of that on YouTube from 10 years ago or so. And then it was important to write songs, the new material, original material that didn't sound like typical Christmas songs that people would only listen to at Christmas time. I wanted people to be able to listen to those songs in March or July or September. And I think we accomplished that, you know. Other than bells, we added some bells that make it a little more Christmassy, which it's amazing how much bells can change everything, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, like The Greatest Gift of All. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it's like all of a sudden it's a Christmas song just because of the bells. So it's pretty cool. But we're really pleased with what we did, and we hope everyone else will be as well. And I'm hoping and praying it's an album that will live on for forever, and people will pull out every Christmas.
I have to say that Yolanda and I were lucky because we attended to your show in Rock Imperium this last summer. And I think that was the best show that I ever attended of your band. I have to say that I attended 3 times to your concerts, but always in summer festivals, never in a club in Spain. So do you have plans to tour? But I would love to attend to your show in a venue closer to the band.
You know, we've been talking about that for a long time. And the problem is our finances. That's the problem. And basically, I'll give you an example. If we put together 10 shows in Europe, and 1 or 2 of those shows are in Spain and other parts of Europe, and we get 15,000 per show. I'm just throwing a number out there. You do the math on that, it's $150,000. After all expenses, airfares are brutal, absolutely insanity. I don't know how people afford to travel, to be honest. But after all expenses, all of a sudden we've spent $250,000 or $210,000 or $220,000, and we're in the red instead of in the black. We can't afford to tour like that. And it's very unfortunate and sad because we have so many fans there that we would love to see. And I hope and pray and assume that they might love to see us as well. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. But we're trying to make it work. And hopefully someday soon, we will come up with a solution and we'll be able to get to Europe, do a European tour in clubs. I can't believe that you liked that show. I mean, I went on record, I think, on my Facebook page saying that was one of the worst shows we've ever done. It was rough. That was rough. I remember we had a lot of issues at sound check, and oh my word, that was so rough. But I'm glad you liked it, and I hope everyone else there in attendance liked it as well.
But, Yolanda, please, sorry.
No, I want to mention this because today I was talking with some people. I don't know if you remember, but so closing days you also play in Rockfest Barcelona in Spain. And the opinion of the people is more or less the same. So you had a lot of issues with the sound check. So I assume that for you is super annoying because you are a 40 career band, 40 years. So
Yes.
how you deal with this? Because I assume it's really frustrating.
Well, what happens in a situation like that when you're allotted so much time and it's not a lot of time. I think we had maybe 40 minutes.
No,
No.
in your last concert in Rock Imperium, it was
An hour
closer to
10?
your entire show, 1 hour and
No,
20.
no, I'm referring to sound check, to our
Ah,
time.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not the show. And when you're allotted so much time to change over the band and pull all the gear from the opening the previous band, and then get all our gear out there and connect everything. And sometimes if things go wrong, which they did, and we had a new crew, we were traveling with a new crew, new front of house, new monitor engineer. We had problems and we couldn't sort them out. And the people there weren't really understanding or knowing or helping, and it was just kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
And about 5 minutes before showtime, we still didn't have those problems issued out, and I was literally sweating head to toe, and I was a nervous wreck. And then it was like, okay, go, boom, and you go out there and you play, and you got to put all that behind you. It's very difficult to do. We pulled it off, but it wasn't our best. I think had we resolved those issues, it would have been a much better show, in my opinion.
Just a first question. This happens only in Spain or also in other countries?
Oh, it happens in many other countries. It happens in the US.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It happens in the US. I mean, we go and perform at certain clubs, and you send your requirements, your writer, your tech writer, and you walk in and nothing's there. And you're supposed to be sound checking, and doors open in 2 hours, 3 hours, and you got to send someone out to get this console and those side fills and that monitor and this and that. And it's like, it happens all the time. It's unfortunate, but yeah, that was really tough. And it made it a little tougher for us because we were playing with some of our heroes.
Yeah.
People that we loved growing up, and that made it even worse for us.
But I remember two things that I loved from the show. The first one is I had the opportunity to attend to an entire show of Striper, because last times were shorter set. And Perry Richardson, I think this guy is an amazing bass player, and he sings really good.
Oh yeah, Perry's great. We're really happy to have him, and he's, I think, happy to have us and to be here. And it's a great fit. And people sometimes I read, not sometimes, often I read comments from some fans saying, it's not the same without Tim. They wish Tim was back, blah blah blah. Perry, nobody could do as good a job as Perry. Perry's just killing it, and he does a fantastic job, and he's a perfect fit for this band. Absolutely.
I think Jordi mentioned two things. I assume that the second one is the drummer, no? Position. My theory is, because I am also a photographer, I think he can also be better in a photography in that way that in a regular. So why you think you choose that, or he?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to understand the question.
Yeah, the
She's
tilted position. Well, I don't know if the word is tilted, but it's like it's not in front of the public.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, he sits sideways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sideways. Okay.
He sits sideways. He's always done that from the very beginning. And there's a band called Night Ranger. Of course, you're familiar with. And Kelly has always done that as well. And I think Kelly did it first. But Robert's always done that. And I think he chose to do that early on because he refers to himself as the visual timekeeper. So he's very visual. He's always moving. He's always moving around and doing stuff. And he wanted people to be able to see that. And if he was facing forward, you wouldn't be able to see that as well. So facing sideways, you can see his movement a lot better.
But it's true that his neck is gonna suffer a lot because if he needs to check, they are gonna start to play.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes I can hear when he's doing that. I literally, because his cymbals get a lot louder. He's bashing his cymbals when he's doing that, and I hear that in my in ears. And it's very distracting sometimes. But that's Robert. That's what he does, and he may very well have neck issues. Who
No,
knows? I think
it's your
we all
trademark.
might.
It's a trademark, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
It is.
something really important for a band. A trademark like this.
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about when Striper returned. I think it was in 2005. The sound of Striper moved to an amazing heavy metal act. My impression is that your voice changed with the years, but I love how the band changed. And albums like what, Murder by Pride, I think it's wow. It's really sounds pure heavy metal.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my favorite albums. It doesn't get a lot of recognition because it's not as heavy as some of the other albums, especially the most recent albums. That's a little bit more melodic and a little more hard rock versus heavy metal, at least in my opinion. And it's one of my favorite albums. I love it. This new album we're working on right now is a little bit more in that wheelhouse. It's a little less. It's going to be a little less fast, double kick, heavy, heavy, heavy. It's going to be a little bit more straight ahead. And I'm kind of excited about that. It's a bit of a breath of fresh air for me. So we're really excited. We start work on this new album end of this year. It'll come out next year. And then we've got this Christmas album coming out in just, I think tomorrow it comes out officially.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ended the tour, I think, of the 40 years. Do you have plans to continue with this, or what are the future plans of the band?
Well, I mean, the future plans are to continue and to keep making music because we have that desire and we have that calling on our hearts and our lives. But you never know what the future holds, you know? I mean, who knows? Our hopes are and our prayers are to make a lot more music. We're starting on a new album that'll come out next year. I have a new solo album coming out in
Ah,
April. Yeah,
okay.
called The Master Plan. And then I have another album coming out with a band called Iconic. And that's with Tommy Aldridge, Joel Hoekstra, Nathan James.
I thought that project was stopped.
Nope,
I thought.
no, it just got put. It got kind of put on hold because Frontiers changed a few of the guys, a few of the staff there. They brought in a different co-producer and writer, Aldo, and Alessandro parted ways with Frontiers. So it was a different dynamic, and we had to kind of put things on hold for a while. But it's coming.
By the way, amazing lineup. Well, Nathan
Yeah,
James, Joel Hoekstra,
yeah, and
Tommy
Marco
Aldridge.
Mendoza.
Oh, friend of us. We interview Marco a lot of times, so it's great to know that you are playing with him.
Yeah, we're playing. We were all playing together in a band called Iconic, and it's really awesome. And it's got that Whitesnake vibe to it, you know. Definitely old school Whitesnake.
Nathan James has the perfect voice to have this feeling.
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I want to tell you about another trademark of the band. It's the moment that I don't know if this one is from Back in Open Air. It's in Spanish, but you throw to the crowd some Bibles, and it's another iconic. Nobody did him that.
Yeah, we've been doing that from the very beginning. And that is really one of the most important and integral parts of what we do. Tossing out Bibles. And the reason being is because everything we sing about is in the Bible. The message we portray, the message we write and sing about, it's all in there. And that's our foundation. So we want other people to know about that. So when we toss out Bibles, our hopes are that they'll take them home and read them. And a lot of people do, some people don't. But, you know, I think, I don't even know how many we've tossed out over the years, but you're talking about 40, almost 42 years of doing that. So it's a long time.
Okay, I don't know how to express that question, but I'm gonna try. Um, you agree that there are not so many Christian bands since you started? So why there are not so many bands after you appear? I think you are still the referent of this style or this, no?
Well, I mean, there are. I think if you really dive into that and research, there's a lot of Christian bands, and maybe not as many popular Christian bands that have crossed over and broke out and made a lot of buzz and noise in the music world. But there's a lot of bands, definitely, and a few that come to mind, bands that I'm talking about that have made a lot of noise, like POD. You of course remember POD. Um, Obviously, bands like Skillet. I don't know if you're familiar with Skillet, but they're
No?
very
No.
popular. Yeah, very popular. But yeah, Stryper's one of those bands. We're definitely a rarity in the sense that we crossed over and we were able to sing about Jesus, but to a mainstream world and get airplay on MTV and on secular radio stations and whatnot. So that's really cool and kind of a unique, one of a kind situation, to be honest.
But I interviewed with Liner Skyner, for example, or Halloween, the band Halloween, and they are Christian since the beginning. And now they are more proud, I think, that in the beginning. So suppose that a lot of bands, when they started with the heavy metal, talk about satanic topics, but with the years, through the years, changed and returned to their roots. So, for example, Alice Cooper, people from Megadeth, there are a lot of examples. So Christianism always have been in the metal scene.
I think what happens with a lot of people, maybe even most people, I won't say all people because that's probably a bit of a stretch, but I think as we get older, we start to realize our own mortality, and when we're young, we don't think about that. We don't think,
Absolutely.
we don't think about where we're going. We're just enjoying the moment and partying and having fun. But as we get older, we start to think about that more. And I think guys like Alice Cooper and anyone else that has become a Christian, they probably sat down one day and realized, like, you know what, there's more to this than just metal and sex and drugs and, all that cliche BS. They realized that there's a lot more to it. And they came to the realization that there is a God, and they now put their faith and their trust in God. I think that's amazing. Really cool. We just kind of figured that out early on. We didn't wait till later in life to do that.
I think also, I mean, it's my opinion, of course, but as you get old, you tend to deal more with disease, mental issues, let's say, with death more closer. So I think all of this is related.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it puts things, it changes your perspective.
Exactly.
It really does. And it makes you look at life in a different way and people in a different way. So yeah, that's important. So my answer to that is I think just life in general, going through life, it kind of taught them some lessons, and they learned a lot from that, and they decided to humble themselves and give glory to God and put their faith in God.
Hey, I want to ask you about, I don't know if it's a legend, it was a joke, but it's always said that we will be amazing to have a tour with Slayer and Striper joining forces and touring around the world. I really don't know if you talk about, but it's Heaven and Hell tour.
We have, and we even thought about it way back in the day with Motley Crue. We were talking about, we presented the idea, and there's always been this talk of a potential Heaven and Hell tour. I know we talked about it with Motley, way back in the day. We thought about it with Wasp. It's been presented, the idea with Slayer and Stryper, and even King Diamond and Stryper. So it would be interesting. Would it be well perceived? I have no idea. Would it do well? in terms of tickets and people going or wanting to go, I have no idea. But it sure would be interesting to present both sides and to do something like that. I think be very cool.
Okay, now it's far, but do you think the 80s prosecution of the PRMC was a benefit or a drawback for Striper?
You mean the persecution we went through?
No, the
No?
PMRC, Tipper Gore.
I got you. Well, to be honest with you, I never really got caught up in that. I remember Dee Snider was a voice and representation for all that. I never really paid much attention to it. We just kind of did our thing. We got all those little stickers put on our albums anyway because of what we sang about. It was very interesting. And because of our imagery, like with Tell with the Devil, we had a pentagram necklace being ripped off of Satan as he was being cast into the pit by 4 angels. And I remember having to put stickers on our albums because of that. So we went through it. We experienced that, but never really got involved and went out and fought that. We just kept making music, and we did really well. And we got a lot of recognition, a lot of airplay, and a lot of support.
Do you had some troubles with in the 80s with true metal heavy Christianism? Because many years ago, I met people that hate. I hate Striper because they are Christians, but now they are in your concerts singing the songs. So I think a lot of people change their mind.
I think most of the time that hate is based on our lyrics and our message. It's not the music. I mean, if we were singing if you put Motley Crue lyrics to our music, I think some of our songs might have been bigger than Motley Crue songs. It's not the music. It's the lyrical content. And a lot of people just don't want to hear about God. And they deny God and they get adamant about that. And it's like, nope, don't want to hear it. Or there's a hatred for that. They get angry and they get hateful, and it's pretty crazy. But yet at the same time, they'll listen to Slayer, who's singing about the devil, which is a form of religion, Satanism. It kind of is baffling for me. It makes no sense that people will listen to that proudly, but they won't listen to a lyric about God proudly. I don't understand it. But that's the way it is. That's the world we live in. And we've come to terms with that. And it doesn't stop us from doing what we're here to do. We just keep doing what we're called to do and the way we love to do it. And it all works out in the end.
Yolanda, maybe it's time for the 3 last questions.
Yeah, probably we will listen your solo album and maybe we ask for another interview focus on that. But let's go for the classical questions fast. Do you remember the first album that you bought with your own money?
Yes, the first album I bought with my own money. And oddly enough, later on in life, I became a member of that band. It was the band Boston.
Oh, wow. Super.
Yeah, I that was the first album I ever bought. Really influenced me. And then in 2007, Brad Delp passed, and they asked me to join the band. And I toured with them in 2008. We did 56 shows, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I read on Wikipedia, to be honest.
That was fun. That was amazing. I mean, it was a difficult time, bittersweet, because my wife I was her caretaker at the time, and she was not doing well. And it was just I only went because she encouraged me and wanted me to go. So otherwise, I would have had to pass. But so that was an interesting time.
Okay. Have you ever cried in a concert? Do you remember the band and the song?
Have I ever cried?
In a concert, standing
I think I have. Yeah, a few times. And
This one.
just randomly thinking about God in the moment, or thinking about a person I met right before the show who was ill, or thinking about a loved one. Most recently, we just performed in South America. and we got the news that our dad was passing, and we called and had a conversation with him. He couldn't talk, and I had to go perform after that phone call, and that was really tough. Really, really, I was very emotional. So yes, to answer your question, yes.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the last one was, oh yeah, yeah. So you have a lot of money to spend in a live show. Which trick would you like to do? Like fireworks and don't know.
And you got a lot of amazing tricks in years ago.
Yeah, airplanes, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about Striper is we're kind of like we're similar to Kiss in the sense that you kind of need to see the whole show, not just the music, but the imagery, the yellow and black stripes, the outfits, and all that stuff. And in the old days, you could see a good representation of that if you watch our old videos. We had all the pyro, the flash bombs, we had the lights, you name it. We had all kinds of cool stuff on signs that would come down, a cross that would come down, Robert's drum set would spin, just all kinds of cool stuff. And to do that, it costs a lot of money. So we would love to get to that point again and be able to offer that, but we're not at that level. We're more of a club, small theater band right now. We're not an arena band where you pull in 10,000 people and you can afford to do that. But maybe someday soon we will be again.
Cross fingers.
Really
Yes.
interesting. Okay, we ended, but just a favor, if you can say, hello, this is Michael Sweet from Striper. Please check my
Please,
interview in
for
Stairway to Rock.
Stairway to Rock.
Please, okay, absolutely. Hey, everybody, this is Michael Sweet from Striper, and please go check out my interview with Stairway to Rock.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Michael.
All right, you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll see you next year.
Yeah, same for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys. See you later.